Hey you guys, what's up? I'm Nadia and I'm back with another video, but this time I just wanted to do something a little different. Uh, I know it's been a while. I really have not been on the Married at First Sight kick. I haven't. I enjoy watching it. However, it's getting to a point to where I'm not too interested in reviewing the show like that. So I do know that some of you do follow me or are subscribed to me because of that, but just allow your girl to do something a little different, okay? just a little different. And I was sitting and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to talk about the movies that I like, because a lot of the movies, especially the black movies that we have in our culture, we look at them differently now that we grown, okay? Because I'm 30 years old, so a lot of this it was a time, okay? It was a time where black movies and all of that jazz, like it was something to talk about. So I think I want to kick it off, y'all. I want to kick it off because I want to talk about Two Can Play That Game, okay? So Two Can Play That Game is one of my top favorite black movies. Well, movies in general, really. I feel like I throw that on whenever like I'm feeling some type of way or I don't know. I just get a good kick out of that movie. Shout out to Vivica Fox. Shout out to all them because they did that with that movie. So let's talk about it. Let's unpack because now that we grown, okay, we can see things a bit differently. So basically, like Shantae, who is Vivica Fox, played by Vivica A. Fox, like Shantae is very like she's a boss, okay? And I saw that then as a young as a younger girl, and I still see that now. Like Shantae is a boss. She don't play no games. She has worked her way up in the corporate world. She is classy, sassy, cool, like Shantae is everything, okay? And I remember like how she dressed, how she walked, like how she like when she walked into the room, it's like her presence. What we doing? What is there to talk about? I'm here. Like so I thought that then and I do feel that now watching Two Can Play That Game over again. Like her hair was everything. It had the number. What is it? A number? I forget the hair numbers, girl. But it was just everything. It was giving what it needs to give. And like the little kitty tattoo that she had on there. Like don't play. You get what I'm saying? Don't play. So Shantae was everything, and of course she was like the whole like the main character. So she had friends and like her friends or whatever, like they just like couldn't get it right. They couldn't get it right in the whole movie or whatever. So they were kind of like, at a certain point just kind of bystanders. But let's see. One of the um people, it was played by we know her as Regina. Regina from the Steve Harvey Show, but Wendy Raquel. Yes, she played the one who was with Bobby Brown, right? So back then, like I really wasn't putting two and two together that was Bobby Brown. And because they had made him like so ugly, like they made him so ugly. So with the jacked up tooth, he was the mechanic. He didn't really have a whole bunch of money at all. He was just kind of getting by, and then he just fell into a boss came in, Karen. That's what she played, Karen. She walked in and was like, okay, you a fixer upper, I can fix you up. And I just find that funny because she turned around and she was just like hurt because after he got his teeth done, he got his life together. The sister put him back on track, baby, like we always do. Okay? We always do. And she just lost her damn mind. Like she let him just like turn her all the way out. And back then I saw that and today I see that. It's the same thing. Like, sis. So yeah, she had that friend, and then it was Monique D. She had the bum or whatever. And then who else? What was the other friend? I forget her name. I'm gonna put the picture up. Like, but she was with the guy who like was a habitual cheater. Like he constantly cheated. And it's like looking back at it, like, you know, it didn't really paint the brothers in a good light. Like, to be honest, it was kind of like that one Keith out the bunch and like the rest of the brothers who was like no good. So I guess that's why they tried to make it feel like, you know, Shantae was the prize, but also, you know, Keith was a prize, and then like they found each other, and you know, it's like 1 in a million. It was like a 1 in a million type thing. So I didn't really kind of notice that as a child watching it, but as an adult, I'm like, okay, I see what this looks like. I see, you know, it's rare, trying to show that like women like Shantae don't come around often, and men like Keith don't come around often. So that's what I was thinking about, you know, with the whole, you know, friends having all these issues with their men or whatever. But anyway, Shantae didn't want to tell nobody her business. She knew everybody's business. She had the game and the rules, and like intercepted herself and a lot of her friends like drama. And it's kind of like you can look at her and be like, girl, you do not know it all, because look what you finna have to go through. But at the same time, like her friends did look to her for that advice. They looked to her for, because they look like they looked at her like, you're my friend, you got your shit together, like you boss, so why wouldn't something that you're telling me to do in my relationship wouldn't be right, or how could it not help me? And when you look back at it, in actuality, like some of that shit was toxic. Like the part where Shantae had told Karen, no, not Karen, it was the other, I forget the other one's name. I forget that girl name. But woman name. But she told her to plant panties in the couch or whatever and see what your man say. Like, to me, them like petty games, like them really petty games. But it's like that wasn't gonna get, if you in hindsight, like as an adult, you're like, okay, was that going to give you the answer that you really was looking for? Like, is that really, because you already know he dogging you, girl. So like, what does that have, like what dog does that, what cat does that, like how does that matter at this point? And the fact that Shantae, like she made her way over there after, you know, she had already told her friend, like this how you catch him, girl. This how you catch him. And girl, you already knew deep down. A lot of people already know deep down if somebody's stepping out on them. They get them, you know, them red flags that they choose to ignore. But her friend didn't ignore them, so that's why I was like, so basically everybody having these issues, but then, you know, that one night they all hang out. Now, first night, she, you know, with her and Keith, everything hot and heavy. She popping up to the job. Like, I remember watching it as a kid. I was like, oh, so this what grown people do? Like, really slide through? Is that what we doing? So that was different, you know, watching as like when you watch that movie as an adult, you like, oh, okay, so do this really go down for real? Y'all really do this in y'all office? So there's that. But the part that I want to get to, the nitty gritty of it. Okay, so the big question is, was Keith wrong? Was Shantae overreacting about the situation? Look, back then, as a kid, like a kid watching this, I was like, oh, Keith wrong off rip, you know, not really putting any thought into it. And as an adult, I still feel like he wrong. I still feel like Keith was wrong. Like, okay, so he went after work, he invited a coworker out for drinks or whatever. So I get that. I don't feel like there's nothing too wrong with that. But then again, it's like, okay, that's a whole like single woman and you're not a single man. So what you doing? So that was a little but I was willing to give him a pass on that part. And the part where when Vivica was like, oh, she played it cool. She was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna let him know that we see each other. I'm gonna go up there and we gonna do that. So it was his reaction for me. It was his reaction that made me like, oh, okay, you wrong. You know you did something wrong. Because when she walked up to him, she was like, hey, Keith, what's going on? You know, trying to play it cool, whatever. Real player with it. Real player, okay? And he was acting and fumbling and over his words like, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing, like a child, you know? So I'm just like, yeah, you wrong. So I feel like as an adult, he still is wrong. Now, I do feel like as the movie progressed, like Shantae like took things way too far. Cause like if you knew you wanted to still be with him, why would you still play all these games? You get what I'm saying? Like the back and forth. But then again, that's reality. People really do that. Like people really go back and forth and do tit for tat, knowing deep down they really still want to be with that person. They really still care about that person. So it wasn't out of the ordinary. So, you know, it was what it was. But, you know, I do feel like Keith hit below the belt. He hit below the belt, okay, on quite a few situations or whatever. So let's get to Gabrielle Union's, her character or whatever. And what was Connie? It was Connie. Like, she was boss too. Like, that iconic, like that scene where she walking up and she got this red suit on, she got a high pony, you know, face beat, like she walking around like, I'm here, I've arrived as well. So I like that. This movie I felt like was the not one of the first, but I guess for like new age to show black women like in these like boss, like very like, I'm that girl. Like, I'm that girl. You get what I mean? Like, and as I felt like that was very necessary to watch as a younger girl, you know, as a young lady. Like, that was very necessary because I wanted to be Vivica. Like, I wanted to be Connie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, you know, it was everything. So I feel like Connie had that same thing, but she still had that Delilah spirit on her. You know, she had the Delilah spirit on her heavy. So I really wasn't feeling her. I wasn't feeling her back then, and when I watch it, I wasn't feeling it now. But as an adult, I do feel like she really didn't do. Technically, she didn't really do anything wrong because at the end of the day, she was just a pawn in the shenanigans that Shantae and Keith had going on. And sis thought she was really playmaking. Like, she really thought that, you know, she was infiltrating some shit. Like, she really thought, you know, she had something going. But in actuality, like, girl, you was just a pawn. They was both using you to get back at each other. Like, Keith was using you to get back at Shantae. So are you really that important in his life? So, but then again, let me roll back because Connie didn't seem like she wanted to be that girl anyway. She just seemed like, oh, if you want to have fun, then you come on over to the wild side. Come on over to this side. That's the energy that Connie really gave. But Vivica, she played herself at that party because when they got into it, when Connie and her got into it, she showed her hand. Like, she showed her hand for real. It's like, okay, all this tough girl stuff, but you really truly like care. So it was just, I don't know. It was just crazy. But I do feel like this movie was so real, like so realistic as far as the games that people play. Okay? When they're in and out of relationships, whether, you know, it's serious or whether it's not. These are the things that happen. Now, she took it far or whatever, but he did too. Because he, like I say, he took it too far when he invited Connie to that party and let her dance all over him in front of Shantae. Now, that would have sent me. Okay? no cap. Like, that would have sent me. Like, because don't play with me, boy. Like, don't play in my face. Like, you're playing in my face. Oh, God. So, I ain't appreciate that. I appreciate that. I still don't appreciate that as an adult watching that movie. So, Yeah, so I do feel like, I guess Shantae did. I feel like she overreacted, but again, yeah, she overreacted. She overreacted. She did. She did because you could have just left him alone after you saw him and how his reaction when you caught him with the coworker after work. You should have, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, so y'all, let me know. Like, have y'all ever watched that movie? What y'all think? Like, who do you think was wrong? Like, do you think Vivica, or not Vivica, Shantae, do you think she overreacted? Do you think Connie was like Delilah's spirit? Like, you think she had some wrongdoing in that as well? What y'all think? I feel like everybody played their part, especially the friend, because the friend Anthony Anderson that played Keith's friend, he was hyping. He the one who was putting Keith on game because Keith really was obsessed with Shantae, okay? Obsessed. But Keith was like the one planting those little seeds in his head to play games, to play the game right along with her. So sometimes you gotta watch. You gotta watch, them guy friends, because they kind of sit back like they ain't got a hand in, their friend's situation. But they do, because he always was like, oh, she fine. Oh, did you get it? Did you get it? Like, he was always looked like the one to where it seemed like, okay, had you had a chance to be with this type of woman, this caliber woman, like, you would take his place. Did y'all catch that? Because as an adult, I caught that. As an adult, I caught that. So, yeah, who was wrong, y'all? Who was wrong? Anyway, y'all let me know if y'all, want me to talk about another movie, like an older movie that, now that we grown, okay, we can really talk about it, But anyway, until next time, you guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I don't know, I enjoy doing stuff like this. The Married at First Sight is cool, but after a while it started getting to me a little bit forced, and I don't always have something to say about. And to be honest, those type of reviews, like, they're good in the moment, but they're like hamster wheel. Like, they're good in the moment, but after a week or so, like, nobody goes back to watch those type of videos. Like, and I'm just gonna be honest, and that's no shade to people that do review shows, and I'm not gonna ever say that I'm not gonna ever talk about Married at First Sight again, because I most likely will. But the thing is, I don't want to be on that hamster wheel with it. I don't. I want to talk about some stuff that's a little bit more timeless, and things that mean a little bit more to me. You know what I mean? So anyway, y'all, that's it. I will see you guys next time. Bye.